You know that feeling. You're stuck on hold. Some incredibly repetitive synth pop track is just looping in your ear, and your frustration is basically doubling every 10 seconds. By the time an actual human being finally picks up the phone, you don't just want to fix, right? You are demanding a flawless, immediate resolution. Well, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to explain this topic in serious detail by completely unpacking a critical workshop curriculum that tackles exactly this: the highly demanding modern perception of customer service. If you've ever felt like customer interactions are just fundamentally different and honestly way more intense today than they were maybe a decade ago, you hit the nail right on the head. We're going to break down the actual frameworks that leading organizations use to not just survive, but thrive in this absolutely unforgiving landscape.
So let's jump straight into the completely uncompromising state of mind that defines today's customer. The workshop sets the stage with this shockingly blunt phrase: "I want it my way now." I mean, really think about the two distinct halves of that demand. My way speaks to this deeply ingrained expectation for personalized, highly specific service. People literally have zero tolerance for rigid, one-size-fits-all policies anymore. And then there's the now. That implies an absolute zero tolerance policy for friction, hold, or delays of any kind. Think about how wild that is compared to 20 years ago. Back then, waiting 2 whole weeks for a mail order catalog resolution was completely standard. Now, it's an aggressive, high-stakes mindset that has entirely rewritten the rules of engagement. To figure out exactly where this comes from, we really have to look at the broader environment that's shaping it. Which leads us perfectly into Section 1, the experiential economy.
So, the experiential economy is essentially the current environment that completely defines how we perceive service today. We are so far removed from the old, purely transactional world. You know, the one where you just handed over some cash for a product, and that was the end of the whole relationship. That landscape has completely shifted beneath our feet. Today, every single touch point, whether it's an automated email, a quick chat with a rep, you name it, permanently shapes how a customer views your brand. They're judging the entire journey from the very first click to the final follow-up. And because we all live in a world curated by algorithms that literally anticipate what we want and give us seamless one-click experiences, our baseline definition of good service has been elevated to near perfection. The bar isn't just higher, it's a completely different game entirely.
Let's move right along to Section 2, the modern customer mindset.
This entire service workshop deliberately kicks off right here by making absolutely sure we truly understand the customer's state of mind. Before anyone gets to learn specific scripts or software tools or de-escalation tactics, grasping this mental baseline is the mandatory prerequisite to the whole shebang. Why? Well, because if a rep doesn't deeply internalize the pressure, the urgency, and frankly the anxiety that the caller is feeling, any service technique they try to use is just going to fall completely flat. Just imagine a representative calmly reading some rigid, robotic, institutional script to a customer who is actively panicking about a frozen bank account. The friction between that intense emotional urgency and a cold, scripted response doesn't solve the problem. It actually escalates it. Empathy and true understanding absolutely have to precede any action.
And that exposes a massive inherent tension right at the core of modern service. On one hand, you have the customer's mindset. It's fiercely individualistic, highly emotional, and operating with just extreme urgency. They need their specific problem solved yesterday. But on the other hand, you have the contact center's role. This represents the institution, which by its very nature literally has to be structured, methodical, and policy-driven just to survive handling thousands of calls a day. So the grand challenge, and really the whole focus of this curriculum, is figuring out how that highly structured institution can successfully absorb and pacify that intense emotional urgency without just breaking down entirely. It's an incredibly delicate balancing act. So what exactly is the structured solution for handling this?
Let's take a look at Section 3, the contact center role. The workshop breaks down the contact center's role into these two essential, dual-purpose mandates that basically have to happen at the exact same time. Step 1, provide knowledge. Because the customer is demanding things their way right now, the representative has to be an absolute, unshakable authority. They can't guess. They definitely can't put you on hold for 20 minutes to dig through a manual. They have to provide accurate, immediate information. But here is the real catch. Step 1 is totally useless on its own. Step 2 is ensuring each call ends with the caller actually satisfied. You could provide perfectly accurate technical knowledge, but if the delivery is cold, condescending, or just completely lacks empathy, that customer is hanging up fuming. They will fail your brand in this new economy. And on the flip side, a rep could be the warmest, most polite person in the world, but if they don't actually know how to fix the issue, well, satisfaction is literally impossible. Contact centers absolutely must deliver on both of these pillars, airtight knowledge and real emotional satisfaction for every single interaction. Which really leaves us with a critical question to think about. Is your team or the service teams you rely on actually prepared to face the experiential economy right now? Are they fully equipped with both that airtight, instant knowledge and the highly refined empathetic skills it takes to guarantee satisfaction for someone who demands everything their way immediately? It's an incredibly high bar for sure. But think about it. If your service teams are still stuck operating in a purely transactional mindset, what is that ultimately going to cost you? Because in an economy where patience is practically zero and your competitors are just a click away, mastering this balance isn't just about providing good service anymore, it's about sheer survival.